Good morning, judges. My name is Tejas.
My name is Arav.
And my name is Utkarsh from Cupertino High School.
Today, we'll be presenting our financial analysis for Chipotle Mexican Grill for the fiscal year 2024. The first statement we'll analyze is a consolidated statement of financial position, which details a company's assets, liabilities, and owner's equity at a specific point in time. Looking at the balance sheet, we saw impressive growth across the board. Total assets jumped 13.2% to 9.2 billion, mainly driven by restaurant expansion, with cash growing to 2.3 billion. Now, what does this actually tell us? Chipotle's cash conversion cycle sits at -4 days compared to the industry average of 15 to 30 days. A negative cash conversion cycle means they're collecting cash from customers before paying suppliers, essentially funding their business with other people's money.
Chipotle is also one of a handful of companies carrying zero financial debt, giving it a debt to equity ratio of 0. When you consider that the industry typically runs at 0.8 to 1.5x, this means that they face zero refinancing risk and have maximum flexibility for deploying their cash.
The next statement we'll analyze is the consolidated statement of operations, also known as the income statement, which shows revenue, expenses, and net income over a period of time. Revenue climbed 14.6% to $11.3 billion. But what stood out even more was that profits grew faster at 24.8%.
We calculated the net profit margin to be 13.6%, which is more than double the industry average of 5 to 8%. Not only is their net profit margin high for their industry, it also expanded by 120 basis points year over year.
Then we looked at return on equity, which was 42%. What this tells us is that every dollar shareholders invest is generating 42 cents in annual profit. Compare that to the industry average of 15 to 20%, you can see why Chipotle ranks in the top 5% of restaurant operators.
Finally, we'll look at the consolidated statement of cash flows, which shows how cash moves through operating, investing, and financing activities. Operating cash flow reached $2.8 billion, up 23.7%, with capital expenditures funding 304 new restaurant openings. On top of that, Chipotle returned $1.7 billion to shareholders through buybacks.
Free cash flow as a percent of revenue, calculated as free cash flow divided by revenue, came to 15%, up 33% year over year. With a 15% free cash flow margin, Chipotle can fund all of its growth initiatives, return capital to shareholders, and pursue strategic investments, all from operations without needing to borrow. We also looked at inventory turnover, which came to 195.6 times annually versus the industry average of 96 times. For a business built on fresh ingredients, that's critical. It reduces food waste and drives efficiency.
Also, it's important to note that Chipotle's dividends per share are zero, since Chipotle prefers buybacks for tax purposes. Overall, we see a cash flow generating machine that funds all of its growth directly from its operations.
Let's look at Chipotle's overall financial health. Starting with profitability, Chipotle has 42% return on equity compared to the industry average of just 15 to 20%. Moving to liquidity, their cash conversion cycle is -4 days, while the industry average is between 15 and 30. This means that Chipotle is essentially using other people's money to fund their own operations.
When it comes to efficiency, they're operating at a 15% free cash flow margin, far above the industry range of 3 to 6%. And finally, on solvency, Chipotle carries a debt to equity ratio of 0 compared to the industry average of 0.8 to 1.5x.
Based on our analysis, Chipotle demonstrates exceptional financial health across all four dimensions.
Drawing from our analysis, we're proposing two strategic initiatives. Our first recommendation is to accelerate Chipotle Lane expansion. Chipotle Lane is Chipotle's answer to drive-throughs at competing restaurants. It's essentially a drive-through pickup only lane.
This recommendation is backed by our balance sheet showing 2.3 billion in cash with zero debt and a 15% free cash flow margin, meaning Chipotle can fund this entirely from its own operations. We recommend increasing Chipotle lanes from 65% to 85% of new restaurants in urban areas over the next 3 years, creating 300 additional locations.
This is because Chipotlanes generate 15 to 20% higher revenue per unit, and digital sales already make up 35.1% of total revenue and are growing. On our payback timeline, a $90 to $120 million incremental investment generates $375 to $525 million in annual revenue, with only a 12 to 18-month payback period. The goal is to position Chipotle as the go-to convenient meal after the gym, during a commute, whenever.
Our second recommendation is to integrate an AI-powered fitness app into the Chipotle app. As we said earlier, digital sales represent 35.1% of revenue, roughly 3.97 billion, and they're climbing. There are over 60 million fitness app users in the US, and these consumers order more frequently and spend more on premium meals.
So here's what we propose. Partnering with MyFitnessPal and Apple Health to let customers sync workout and nutrition data directly in the Chipotle app. The AI then generates personalized meal recommendations, calculates macros, and suggests pre and post workout meals. This could drive $225 to $340 million in incremental revenue by 2027, improve margins by 40 to 60 basis points, and deliver a 12 to 18-month payback period with a projected IRR of 40%.
And as someone who loves gym culture and with Aura being my gym bro, we've seen firsthand how dominant Chipotle already is in the fitness community. It offers high protein, customizable, macro friendly meals. Chipotle is already the go-to option for gym goers, but it's not formally integrated into that ecosystem just yet.
In conclusion, Chipotle's 2024 financial statements reveal its exceptional performance. Our analysis shows that Chipotle ranks in the top 5% of restaurant operators across profitability, liquidity, efficiency, and solvency.
Our two recommendations, Chipotle acceleration and AI fitness integration, are directly backed by the financial data. We drew from a variety of sources, including Forbes, Chipotle's 10K filled with the SEC, and IBIS World Restaurant Industry Reports. We're confident that these strategies will drive growth without sacrificing their industry-leading margins.
Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.